From the Matrix Home Solutions Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Good Friday morning. Amy Jacobson here. John Anthony in for Dan Proft.
Hello.
John Anthony, host of Black and Right, which is heard here every Saturday from noon to 3 o'clock.
Woo.
Right here on AM 560. See, I'm good. I know what I'm doing.
Slammed it.
All right, so Bill Barr, former U.S. Attorney General, has written a book, and he's making the rounds on the media. And the person that really had the most thoughtful, in-depth interview was Bret Baier. I watched, Bill Barr on ABC, CBS. I watched him with Lester Hall, but it was all squishy, light questions. And getting to the meat, the center cut, of course, was Bret Baier.
It was certainly unsettling when I went in to talk to the president about the election, and he was livid and shaking and, showed a lot of temper and yelling. That was a little unsettling. But the other thing that was actually unsettling is later when I went in to actually give him my letter of resignation, he started talking about how he had actually won the election and how the machines were rigged and that he was actually going to be there for another term, and he was very confident of that. And I just felt this showed a detachment from reality that was stunning to me. He was willing to accept anything, no matter how fanciful, as long as it didn't make him a loser in the election.
So what do you say to Trump supporters who are angry about the last election, and frankly, they're angry at you for saying what you're saying in this book? What do you say to them?
I think the truth is important, and the truth is he lost the election. I understand that a lot of these very sensational stories come out on the line and in social media, but they're simply not accurate.
With more on the interview and the latest on what's going on in Ukraine, let's welcome back to the program Bret Baier, host of Fox News Special Report and the #1 best-selling author of To Rescue the Republic, Ulysses S. Grant, The Fragile Union, and the Crisis of 1876. And he's also going to be anchoring Fox News Sunday this weekend. Good morning, Bret. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. So your interview with Bill Barr, did you find him to be truthful and honest as he normally is?
Yeah, I think he was a straight shooter. There were a couple times where he couldn't answer things, where I pressed him on investigations that there's, a lot of frustration about the Hunter Biden laptop and the Durham investigation. But I thought for the most part he was really kind of straightforward. What's interesting is that he's, critical in that soundbite, obviously, of the former president and of the former president post-election. But he's also praises Trump in the book and in the interview about different policies that he doesn't think would have gone forward had it not been for former President Trump's pushing in office.
Well, what kind of policies? Which ones in particular?
Well, like crime and fighting crime, or immigration and shutting down the border, that other presidents may have talked about, but that president did. So for all of the negativity about his post-election assessments of Trump, what I'm saying is that he also has fondness for some of the policy initiatives that he did in office.
Now, President Trump said that he fired Bill Barr, but Bill Barr said no, it was the other way around. Who do you believe?
Well, I think Trump accepted the resignation and then just put out a statement that he fired him. So,
so Trumpy.
You can split hairs on that.
You're fired. Bret, I heard through a Daily Mailer and the Wall Street Journal editorial page that when it came to the MiGs being given to Ukraine, that Biden himself squashed that deal. Is there any truth to that rumor?
Well, that is what's out there, and I think we've seen that the buck stops with the president on back in the Afghanistan policy and this policy.
Yeah.
If the president wanted those MiGs to go, they would have gone.
Yeah.
So the buck stops with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why send Kamala Harris back over to Europe?
Oh,
I mean, first
God.
she was in Germany and embarrassing us, and then yesterday she was there in Poland when this question was asked by a reporter.
I wanted to ask you about some reporting that my colleague here in Poland noticed. He recently spoke with the mayor of the largest border town, who told him that the refugee system is essentially not set up for this, that it will collapse. It's an improvised system that can work for maybe 2 weeks, but not indefinitely. And I'm wondering what the United States is going to do more specifically to set up a permanent infrastructure. And relatedly, is the United States willing to make a specific allocation for Ukrainian refugees? And for President Duda, I wanted to know if you think, and if you asked the United States to specifically accept more refugees.
Okay.
Oh, God.
A friend in need is a friend indeed.
I can first. Okay, so
Hey, what did she have jet lag or something, Bret Baier?
I don't know. When she gets, to the laughing thing, it really does not sell well. I think she's having a moment with the president of Poland about who's going to take the question first. But in that environment and that question about refugees, it just doesn't feel right. And it doesn't, she has not done well in those high profile settings. And I think they set her up in a way that does not really work. I mean, she should have gone there with some deliverable, something that the U.S. was bringing to the table, and really she didn't. And I don't know. I was expecting some, like she goes into Ukraine and goes to see Zelensky, or there's some big moment. It does not appear that that's happening.
Yeah, and I know that you have Mike Tobin. He's there on the ground, and you have other reporters there. Zelensky, I'm very concerned. He's making desperate pleas, for more international help. What more do you think the U.S. could do to help Ukraine?
Well, I think that the man pads are really what they need to take down Russian aircraft. And, we've seen them with these Stingers and Javelin missiles. There's a system called the S-300 or S-200. It's a Russian-based surface-to-air missile that some of the NATO countries have, and I think they're considering funneling in there as well. So, listen, a lot of stuff is going in. I mean, it's not like it's not. They're very well armed, and they're pushing back on the Russian military more valiantly than anybody believes.
And what about that 40-mile Russian convoy? Are they still? I mean, it's so weird because you can see on social media. This is like a social media war.
They're hiding in the trees.
Yeah.
Seriously, and then you can see, the Ukrainians driving by. They're talking to the Russian soldiers. It's just so bizarre. And then later on, they're bombing and killing kids in in a maternity hospital.
Yeah, it's really strange. The convoy is breaking up. It's kind of dispersing, going into little towns just outside Kyiv. And, it looks like they're getting in position to try to encircle Kyiv. They haven't done it yet. They're being taken out by these Ukrainians. They're, climbing up on hills and taking out tank after tank or armored column after armored column, and it's pretty remarkable. Speaking of Syria, trying to get in information about the war to Russia has been really tough, and a number of different organizations are trying to do that in different apps, even on anything the Russians are using. They're trying to get in information about Ukraine.
It's just so hard in this stage. I mean, it's 2022.
Yeah.
And we're still letting a country invade another country. And you see the moms and saying goodbye to their husbands and sometimes their sons who are, 18 years old, who have to stay there and fight. They're losing everything, their homes. So back to the refugee cry. Are we taking refugees here in the United States eventually, do you think?
Eventually I think we probably will, but they haven't made an announcement, which is another thing that Kamala Harris did not answer. But Europe is taking the bulk of these refugees, Poland right now, but eventually all the countries in Europe will take refugees, and I'm sure there will be some refugee effort by the U.S., but I don't know what that looks like
Yeah,
yet.
my really good friend lives in Utrecht, Holland, and I talked to her yesterday, and she said, their version of McCormick Place here in Chicago, they're converting that to take in 2,000 refugees. So the European countries are definitely helping out. All right, so Bret Baier, you're going to be hosting or anchoring Fox News Sunday this weekend. Who's going to be on the show?
Well, the White House is going to put somebody up, and I would guess it's probably Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, but we'll find out today. We've got a number of things in the frying pan, including some world leaders who are possibly coming on. But I know I'll have Jack Keane and Senator Risch from Capitol Hill, Senate Foreign Relations.
All right. Bret Baier will be watching Sunday, and I watch every night. It's at 5 o'clock here, Chicago time, and his in-laws live here.
Yeah,
Do they still live in the area, Brett?
They do, yeah, Barrington.
Oh, that's right. So say hi to your wife, Amy. I've met her once. She's lovely, and we'll see you tonight at 5. Thanks, Bret Baier.
Sounds good, guys.
Okay,
Have a good one.
Thanks. You have a good weekend. He's host, of course, of Fox News Special Report, seen at 5 o'clock here. Author of a #1 best-selling author, I should say, of To Rescue the Republic. And again, he is anchoring Fox News Sunday this weekend, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of your #1 home mortgage company, Townstone Financial. Want to close your loan quickly? Want to work with a company with the newest technologies in the mortgage business and get all this with great rates and low closing costs? Then look no further. The answer is Townstone.com. What else does Townstone currently have? How about the low interest rate Home Ready program and Home Possible for home purchases that come with free appraisals? We are also obtaining appraisal waivers on many types of refinances and purchases for conventional loans, which will save you over $450 in closing costs. Don't want to find your bank statement or pay stubs? Well, with our new technology, we can obtain these in many cases without you lifting a finger. Remember, it doesn't matter if you're searching for a jumbo mortgage, FHA, VA, or even a reverse mortgage. I guarantee no one is going to beat Townstone's interest rates and low closing costs, and I own the company. So give us a call now at 312-896-2110 because nobody values your home purchase and refinance business more than Townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.